Hey guys, how's it going? Mr. Mitchell here. In this video we're going to look at instantaneous speed, so let's get started. So we'll firstly look at the definition of instantaneous speed, and then we'll go on and look at an application of instantaneous speed in the form of instantaneous speed cameras. So we define instantaneous speed as the speed of an object at a particular moment in time. And the way I like to think about this is that if I was to see an object moving, such as a car on a motorway, if we were able to take a snapshot in time at a particular moment in time and then measure the speed of that object, then that is what the instantaneous speed is. And the instantaneous speed of any vehicle during a journey will change throughout the journey, whereas remember the average speed is the average for the whole journey. So we expect the instantaneous speed of a car, for example, to be 0 when you're stuck at traffic lights and not moving, and it would change depending on the cars in front of you and the traffic and so on. So a car's lowest instantaneous speed might be 0 miles per hour or meters per second, and then a car's maximum speed in say a 30 mile per hour zone might be say 32 miles per hour. So instantaneous speed changes for an object, whereas average speed is the average for the whole journey. And we see an application in instantaneous speed cameras, and it says here that you might have seen these types of instantaneous speed cameras before. So we're going to look at two different types of instantaneous speed cameras. So it says here the fixed speed camera, which is this one here, uses sensors embedded into the road surface to calculate a passing vehicle's speed. The distance between each sensor is known, and by measuring the time for the vehicle to pass between two of these, the instantaneous speed can be found. Now this doesn't just work with sensors, it also works with lines on the road. So if you see a fixed speed camera like this, you'll often see lines on the road next to it, and that is so that the camera can take pictures of your tyres moving between the lines on the road, and by knowing the distance between two lines or markings on the road, it knows the time between the photos that it's taken and can therefore determine your instantaneous speed at that point that you're moving over the lines. You can then do instantaneous speed equals distance divided by time to work out that value. And just like average speed cameras, it's not going to be a person manually calculating this, it's going to be done by a computer. Now these cameras are often painted yellow so that they're easier to see from a distance. And whenever we see instantaneous speed cameras, they are going to stand alone by themselves. So we only need one camera to measure instantaneous speed. Whereas remember, for average speed, we need pairs of average speed cameras. Another way to measure instantaneous speed used by the police is this thing called the handheld radar gun. And this uses the reflection and subsequent detection of radio waves from a vehicle to determine how fast the vehicle is travelling. It takes as little as 3 seconds for the police officer to obtain a speed reading. So this looks pretty old school, this thing here, but that is a handheld radar gun which is going to shoot out radio waves, and they're going to bounce or reflect off a moving vehicle and then return to the handheld device. And by knowing the distance of the vehicle away from you and the time taken for the signal to be transmitted and then received again, the gun itself can calculate the instantaneous speed. And this method looks a bit dated now, but they also use something called LiDAR, which relies on light or laser light rather than radio waves. That's all for this video, folks. I hope you found it useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.